left and valiantly headed towards the sea. At the same time, Japanese planes from the second wave were flying over Diamond Head on the southeast side of the island to continue the attack on Pearl Harbor. As they arrived, they saw this great warship moving out of the harbor and began to attack. She was badly damaged by Japanese dive bombers and torpedo planes, and eventually was purposely run aground on a coral ledge to avoid sinking. Almost 60 USS Nevada crew members lost their lives in this short time. Despite this great sacrifice, Nevada's attempted exit was met with cheers from other sailors and Marines witnessing the attack and served as a morale boost for many. Following an extensive salvage operation, the USS Nevada's guns boomed once again as she provided fire support for Americans who stormed the beaches of Normandy, southern France, Iwo Jima, and Okinawa. Continuing on, the attack on Pearl Harbor began at 7:55 a.m., with torpedo planes coming in waves from both the north and south, while flying at an altitude of only 30 feet. The first few torpedoes slammed into the hull of the USS Oklahoma, exactly in the spot where the battleship Missouri is today. Oklahoma began to tilt, and in less than 12 minutes, she had completely rolled over, only stopping when her masts hit the bottom of the harbor. She had taken as many as 8 torpedo hits on her port or left side. This was a crippling blow, and consequently 429 sailors and Marines were lost on the Oklahoma. At 8:06 a.m., a fatal blow struck the Arizona.
I was very aware of the deliberations going on in Washington. And so I thought it was
my sister, my brother, and I all had the way of black band. When you walk in the door of the theater, stop you. Get search everybody wave by, stand there looking up at the sky and look Japanese. So they think I'm a crook or something. Oh, we're there. So we're gonna make upset.
we put away all the, there were over 100 Germans that were picked up, and they were picked up by FBI agents, taken down to Fort DeRussy or the immigration station. The Japanese went there also. So there were about 400 to 500 people in an area in rooms that should house only about 150 people. I didn't know what happened to my parents. In fact, all of the Germans had been picked up. We were of German descent, very un-German. We were all American citizens.
Sorrowful announcement that he said, all cadets of Japanese ancestry are going to be discharged. So that was the traumatic termination of our first military service rendered during the war. At that time, Hawaii was just dying of manpower, not only military, but for defense work. And they needed every able-bodied person they could get, and yet here they are, they're declaring us useless and unwanted. And actually, realistically, they're telling you, we don't consider you as an American anymore. And I've often said that it felt like the very bottom dropped out of our life. It's a terrible, terrible feeling.
The girls that were around there gathered together and decided, well, maybe we should cut off our hair. Well, Mary Jo had long brunette hair. And she said, I don't think the Japanese are going to worry about the color, like to my hair. No. But they did they organized a butcher knife brigade. Each woman got a big butcher knife, and they would gather in the evening. If they heard any noises, they'd all get together and be armed in case something happened.
We were told no lights on, absolutely no lights, or they'd shoot them out. Somebody would shoot them out. And so we didn't have any lights on, but that night we could see well into the night, we could see the tracer bullets, the yellow and the orange of the tracer bullets, which would scare the heck out of you. But when we heard anything, we had gone upstairs to try to go to bed, and none of us slept. Parents, my mother or Lucille, or kids, dogs, nobody slept. Anyhow, anytime we heard something, we'd all run down the stairs, the two mothers, the kids, and the dogs.
We tried to put sheets down, and whatnot to make them comfortable, but there just wasn't enough wards, enough space in it. And you couldn't get the stench off your body or your clothes. It just worked into you.
On first day, we would try to treat him the best we could, try to get him, determine whether he's going to surgery, whether he's going to burn, where we're going to put him. And if they were a serious pain, you'd give a shot of morphine. And then you put a name on their forehead so they wouldn't get it twice or too quick. He was only supposed to do it every 4 hours. If you had a tourniquet on him, you were supposed to put a T on their forehead so people wouldn't bandage over it. And if they were really bad, and we knew they were bad, and they weren't going to make it, we just didn't put the M on their forehead. Just moved them into the lanai, where they'd be comfortable.
There was all this oil in the water that transferred those fires from one ship to the other.
We finally got out to the Arizona. I think about the first thing we saw in the Arizona was a bunch of ashes blowing off of the ship. I said, I don't know where they come. I can't stop them. I don't have a dustpan or nothing. So I just sort of sank down on my chairs and shed a few tears. A lot of the men had burned right down to the deck with these little piles of ashes because the ship burned so long, so hot.
We had hundreds of bodies floating around in Battleship Row and off Utah and all around the bay. And so they'd go out with grappling hooks and bring them over to this dock. First they were trying to identify them by their names on their shorts, because you had your name stenciled on your shorts and your t-shirt. Then they realized that somebody else have somebody else's shorts or t-shirts, which you did, So then they got a dentist down there, and they had a corpsman cut down both sides of their cheek like this, and the dentist would take down all their teeth and everything, make a plan of their teeth, so that's how they identified them.
Officers were buried in caskets, regular caskets. Enlisted personnel